Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Nancy here along with Jennifer. First and foremost, thank you for your patience. As you can tell, I'm still on the mend. I think that new virus got me good. So I was resting up all weekend, and Jennifer was holding the fort for me, answering all those questions. But I'm doing my best to rest up so we can kick off strong and hard with the challenge tomorrow. So for now, I just want to make sure that everybody is just relaxed, stress-free. This is not a, yes, breathe, breathe. Like we're not going to have perfection on the first day, right, Jen? Like we tell
Right.
people, this is progress over perfection, and we are teaching you something that's out of the norm that you don't know. And so that's why we said this is not particularly the best fit for beginners and for experienced lifters that want to go outside the box and learn certain ways on how you can benefit from shifting calories with your workouts and your energy expenditure in order to avoid plateaus, increase your recovery, increase muscle burning and fat burning, as well as that with intermittent fasting. So there's a lot of moving parts. So in sum, and of course we will go over this on Wednesday. I know that Jen has addressed many of you here, but we are incorporating uh, a little introductory to nutritional periodization as well as training periodization. So what that means in short is like, let me just break it down. Carb cycling. Okay, so this is kind of like you'll see on your plan, you have 2 high days and 2 low days. What we're doing is we are manipulating your caloric intake based on your energy output. So as you know, many of us will burn higher calories, specifically on leg days or back days, or when you have a really, really hard workout. So what we do is we tend to plateau where we're eating the same and consuming the same calories every single day. So what we do is we actually increase the calories in your carb intake to fuel your workout so you have more energy. And on the other days when you're not, maybe it's rest days or your lower days, we have a low to moderate calorie intake. Now, I know there's been many questions. Well, everybody has a different caloric intake. This is not customized. However, many women around the 2000 calorie mark are within a 15 to 1650 calorie range for the day. So we've taken the most successful range that over thousands of our women have gone through, and we have manipulated the calories through those particular calorie ranges, and same with the macros. So you'll find that this is around 1550 to 1650 inside your deficit of daily caloric needs. Now, your low to moderate days are going to be that 1440 to 1500. It's not going to be exact. And in your life, if you think you have to be exact to the gram, you're stressing over small things. As long as it's within 10 to 15 grams of that range, you are good. Like if you have to sit there and wonder, oh my God, I'm 2 grams off, like you're sweating over the stupidest things, okay? Don't worry about it. But on higher calorie days, for example, those leg workouts, you need energy. And what happens is if you don't supply your workouts with enough energy, you don't recover as well. Then you feel like you don't have enough fuel behind the workouts, and you get into that fight or flight mode. And that's where we plateau because your body isn't giving the muscle enough fuel in order for you to build muscle. So that's why we manipulate, rotate the calories so you don't plateau. And that's why we don't see changes. So we have to outsmart the body. So by increasing the carbohydrates up to 50% on those high days, you're fueling your workouts and almost giving it like a recharge of like supreme gas or extra supreme, and then it'll give it enough for recovery and restores to supply for the next few workouts that are low. Same with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, for those of you that are working out at night or shift workers, I have been one of them for many, many years. All you're doing is changing your window, and it doesn't matter if you're working out at night. The key is that you are fasting for 16 hours and eating for 8 hours. So if you work out at 8 o'clock at night and you have your last meal, whatever your last meal is, your fast, if it's 10 o'clock at night, Then your fast starts at 10 o'clock at night, okay? And then you'll fast the next day. You'll fast until the next day. So just count your hours from your last meal. So I don't care if you stopped eating 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. Okay, so just think of it that way. So whatever you're fasting, 16 hours or 18 hours, my God, I can't even add 18 hours. And then you're going to be eating for the 8 hours. The whole point of fasting on your rest days is because one, those are going to be low to moderate days. But what we want to do is switch our fat burning from carbs to fats. So by intermittent fasting, and this is another whole education we are going to learn over the next few weeks, okay? Because this is going to be like information overload for you, is that we are switching you from fat burning from carbs to using that to fats so that we can tap into those stubborn fat stores while at the same time balancing hormones. So as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts going on that you're not going to get on the first day. This is for you to learn so that you can apply and say, hey, this kind of works. You're not going to see a result instantly, but as you get it into a routine, you're going to start to see how you start to feel better, your recovery's better. And then all of a sudden, you'll start to see how in a high carb day, you might find that you're a pound less over a few weeks rather than up. Okay. So it does take time, but it also does take dedication. This is not of, I'm going to do this half-assedly. You have to do this or you don't do it. Okay. To do it right. So you can shift your workouts around, Jen. I think you've addressed that about shifting the workouts around.
In your calendar.
In your
Yeah.
calendar, correct. So if you want to move your leg day to day one, then that carries with you, and you know that your leg day is your higher day where you're burning and you've got cardio that day. You're going to have a high carb day that day. Okay. Now, some of you might have that on back day, right? You might have something going on that day. Tend to, maybe you have a big walk that day or whatever outside. You've got to kind of plan that, and you're going to know even from where you track, if you have your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, what you're kind of expending for the day. And that's what we're basing on, is your total daily energy output. So when those days where your total daily energy output is larger, we need to supply it with more food. So obviously on your rest days, we're not going to have a high energy output. So we're going to be intermittent fasting and we're going to have a lower carb day. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So it's really something that you have to be diligent and schedule in. This is for regular lifters, how athletes get lean when they're serious about overcoming plateaus while building muscle mass and really trying to manipulate and dial into the details of how definition happens. I use it many times during my preps while getting ready for photo shoots, or a lot of our women in our program when they're feeling stuck or we're feeling like, you know what, they've kind of hit maybe a plateau. We're always switching things up on a fly because you can't expect to eat the same calories every day for the rest of your life. And just because you think you're in a deficit, you're not in a deficit anymore. Just because you've been eating 1,500 calories for months and months and months at a time, sorry to break it to you, but you're no longer in a deficit because now your body's metabolism has lowered because it's adapted. And now it wants you to eat even less. And the more you eat less, if that makes sense, the lesser you eat, you lose muscle, and then your maintenance calorie is now dropped to what your deficit was, and you got to eat in less. So that's where we get stuck. We get into a fight or flight mode, and that's why you're like, I'm eating healthy, I'm barely eating nothing, and I'm not dropping. And the whole point of this is to rev your metabolism so you're eating more calories. The women in our program are eating 2,000 calories, and they are lean machines, okay? Whether it be through carb cycling, intermittent fasting, there's so many different techniques. And like I said, the point of this is so that we can teach you how to think outside the box, that you don't have to eat 1,500 calories every day. Like, shoot me in the foot. We would kill, like, we're not meant, especially in our 40s, that is stress on the body. We're trying to train your body to be more efficient. So we're introducing how to eat more on higher days of energy expenditure and lower days. Okay. And that will give you a little bit more freedom even say if it's a high carb, some people want to move that high carb day and that leg day to a Saturday because they might have an event, or maybe you happen to be going to dinner and you want to have a steak or something, or a bigger portion of potato. It's a perfect opportunity for you to do that with a bit of flexibility. So you have to think long term, okay? Well beyond these 21 days. So, with that being said, I think, like I said, we are really going to dive into the dynamics of carb cycling, intermittent fasting, what happens to our hormones during this time, why living in a calorie deficit is not good for you, and it's not good for our hormones. Jen, did I miss anything that you can think of that I should be?
Well, you talked about stress on the body, and there are a couple of questions here that I think may help people right away. If they have a scheduling conflict and they can't make it to the gym, is it possible to move a workout to the following day and stack it on the next workout? In other
Oh,
words,
no, 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 no.
in
Yeah,
other words,
no.
do multiple body parts in one day.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is more is not better. And at our age, we have to consider the effect of the cortisol and adrenal glands and the effect it has. And the longer workouts are not going to be favorable to us, and stacking workouts is actually putting us in reverse. So one, we don't have the right supply of food. Two, longer doesn't mean it's better, because our bodies and our muscles grow while we're resting and recovering, not while they're in the gym. So you actually end up storing fat, because if you're in the gym too long and you haven't supplied the right fuel behind it, you're actually going to store fat. And if your hormones aren't balanced, now you've got a hybrid of issues as well. So no,
Yeah, we've got a
I
lot
would,
of people. We have a lot
yeah,
of people in our community also who like to do spin classes and CrossFit. They want to know if they can do this on top of your program as well.
yeah, no, I would. Here's the thing. Again, I know, like, and this is what I love, because we are avid lifters. All of us have been lifting for years. And I was one of those people that would do 2 hours of cardio and wonder why the hell I wasn't losing anything. But
Right.
you have to make a choice, okay? Especially if you have one, hit classes and spin classes and are not conducive to our hormones, okay? I know that's hard to understand, and that's why you have to understand the difference between heart health, hormone health, and building muscle. So although spin
Absolutely.
classes and group classes may be good for your heart, they're not optimal for your hormones, and they are not optimal for building muscle. Okay. And there's another whole array
Yeah,
that's another
I know.
whole,
I know, but I wanted to at least to
yeah,
get people to understand
for
these
sure,
next
for
three
sure.
weeks what we should
So
be focusing on. So,
without disrupting your whole life, I would suggest you either just try this for the 21 days and put your other stuff on hold. But if there is a cardio session, then don't do my cardio and go to your spin class. But I don't recommend long ass spin classes, because a 60-minute spin class is a hormonal nightmare on
yep.
top of a workout. CrossFit isn't bad, but I would not be doing that with this workout. You would have to remove one of the workouts here, maybe the optional day,
Mhm.
but I would not be doing both. Remember, more is not better. The workouts here, there's going to be some technique learning as well. And again, more is not better. So it's learning about the execution and the timing of how to do that within my T3 method. And you might even find you're going to have to lighten the load, because when you apply the techniques that are used, you're going to be like, oh, all this, and it's gone through with thousands of women going through this. They've had to lighten the load of the weights, okay? Because they realize once the technique is applied, that they no longer can lift the right way, because now they're using the right muscle, not recruiting three other muscles to lift, okay? They're not using their traps. They're not using their bicep to lift their shoulder. So you have to really break it down. If you're here to rush through a workout because we think you know it all, this is not for you. So I'm not a non-BS person. I'm like no BS. So and I appreciate everybody here is a regular lifter. That's what I love. But we all have to put our egos aside. We can never stop learning. So if you're walking into this thinking you already know the workouts and you're not ready to learn, then you're gonna fail. Okay, so I have competitors, we have like long-term retired athletes, we have all sorts, and we all have to be open to learning, including myself. Every day we're learning. So you have to be open to applying the techniques and learning rather than just rushing through everything because you have to go to work. Once the workouts, I think I'll give a shout out to Australia and everybody out front because they
I
have
looked at it.
already got the workouts. They're a day ahead, so you will see your workouts. I know it's a little frustrating. It's just how it's set up because of the different time zones. So after tomorrow, you will have all your workouts and you'll be able to see them. What I do suggest is look at them the night before, look at the videos because it will take you longer in the gym otherwise. It's new. So it's just like riding a bicycle. You're going to have to learn, apply the technique, start to absorb it, visualize it, and then apply it in the gym. But it won't always be like that. It's just because it's new. So keep that in mind. Progress over perfection.
How about the challenge, Nancy? How can they win
Oh,
prizes?
good question. Okay, so the leaderboard will open tomorrow. And yes, there's prizes. So you'll see the leaderboard based on habits, routines. If you've completed your workout, we are going to have also bonus points. So big time bonus points. So starting tomorrow, if you post in your social media in on IG or on Facebook and you tag me at Nancy Danino and you hashtag Ignite, then you get 10 extra bonus points for every time you post something about you participating in the Ignite challenge, whether it be you, a picture of you in the gym, you meal prepping, and we're watching. I have Jen and a whole team going through your pages,
Mhm.
making sure I'm tagged and everything else. So, as well as participating in the group. So, we do have opportunities for other points. We will be in the group actively telling you about it. And each day we're going to have different assignments for you. So that'll be up and coming. I don't want to bombard you, but it's a great opportunity for accountability for you to keep engaged with the community and to showcase and to show everybody else what you're doing because believe it or not, you will inspire others. So the whole point of this is we are igniting your metabolism through a shifting of your nutrition and pairing that with your energy output of your training. So the whole scientific nutrition and training periodization in lay terms, in lay terms. So I hope that helps. Wednesday at 7 is our call. We will break these things down over the next 21 days, okay? But we will be in the group each day to answer your questions. Jen and I are there. We're monitoring everything. This is a positive environment. I would like to stress, okay? This is a positive environment. This is group coaching. So it is not going to be specific to your needs, okay? If you need more help, then you can email or message Jennifer or myself because that is where we have our programs. This is to give you a taste on learning and to show you what can be possible if you, with the education that we're giving you in order to reach your goals. Now, the meal plans, again, there are swap lifts, and yes, you're going to see some fun foods in there that might have a little sucralose or whatever. You know what? Kill me if I couldn't have 1 ounce of it. Like the meal plans are intended for you to be sustainable, not for you to eat dry chicken and broccoli every day like I did when I was competing. Okay. It's like saying I can't have a piece of turkey deli because it has nitrates. God forbid if I'm doing 10,000 steps a day, eating, drinking a gallon of water every day, eating all my calories and getting my vegetables in. God forbid if I had 1 slice of turkey and it has nitrates. Like you can't live thinking of those little first world problems, okay? So
Sure.
they are intended to keep you on track, all right? So don't sweat the small stuff. I call them first world problems, all right? Think of the larger things at hand, the habits, the water, the steps,
Mhm.
the cardio, the routines, okay? And then move forward. How's that for a beginning? A lot to intake. Again, bear with me. I was down for the count, but we're getting better. I think that was it. But like I
Yeah.
said, the whole point of this, and I don't want you to be glued to the scale either, because obviously
Mhm.
as you're going through this, this does
Mhm.
take 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. Everybody's at a different starting point for your body to adapt. Some may see some variances right away, but it's more than that. It's your energy, it's your, improved recovery. Your gut is going to be restored. I'll have a lot of hormonal, yes, your sleep will be improved, right? Reduce fatigue, improve recovery is the biggest thing. And that's why we have a lot of the hormonal balancing items inside shakes and some of the foods in there that you think are just minuscule, but they're actually the game changers beyond what's happening. So really pay attention to the recipes and try to adhere to them as much as possible. They're there for a reason. Okay. There was one question before we wrap up with the intermittent fasting. I know it's a hard thing to wrap yourself around. If you work out in the morning like I do, that is correct. You will not eat right after, on an intermittent fasting day, you will not eat right after your workout. You will wait until noon. And the reason, as we explain in our intermittent fasting coaching call, is that we are learning to use fat as to be fat adapted and not use carbohydrates, okay, as our fuel source, right? We either use fat or carbs. So once we convert that over, we are dialing into that stubborn fat so that we can, that menopause fat that's very stubborn. Exactly. So that's what we're doing. So we're not using carbohydrates on those days. So do you see how there's so many moving parts that are going to get you to your goal? A lot of learning. So just take it by stride. You're not going to have it perfect every day,
That's
but
why
there's,
we have you, Nancy. That's why
yeah,
we have you.
exactly, exactly. But just everybody breathe, okay? Again, this is a positive environment, okay? And if we have any sense of any negativity, you will be removed. I will not tolerate it. Jen will not tolerate it. This is for us to learn and to be as a group, and it's a safe place for us to express ourselves in a positive manner, okay? I can't wait to get this started. I want to see who's going to
Dude,
be on the top of the leaderboard for this challenge.
let's do
And
it.
I just can't wait to see the results. But more so, I want you to learn. I want you to know that there are solutions for us after 40. And we just have a different path, right? Rather than eating a damn 1,500 calories every day, stop shooting yourself in the foot. We're going to teach you other ways so that you can carry these on later on. Okay. Anything else, Jen, that you can
Awesome.
think of right now?
You hit it on the nail right now. We'll meet on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I will send the Zoom link to you in your calendar and in the chat as well.
Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it again. Breathe and take everything step by step.